And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Guys, in today's video we've actually got some really positive news, very good news, as Liverpool have been handed a giant boost ahead of the Premier League returning. Yes, I know it's still a little while away until we do get back underway against Manchester City. However, there is some very good news, of which I want to be going through with you in today's video. I was also going over all the latest Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. That includes a few other bits and pieces. But let's start with this first. Trent Alexander-Arnold has suggested he would prefer not to return to right back in the future, insisting a long-term move to midfield would get, quote, more out of him. Obviously, this has always been a well-documented situation with regards to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Of course, obviously started as a right back, is a fantastic right back, and in my opinion probably one of the best right backs in the world. However, of course, there always has been that conversation around him going into midfield and being a better player within the midfield. Yes, it has been experimented under Jurgen Klopp and also experimented with England too. And this is what he said pre-Malta about this situation, which makes it particularly interesting listening. This is what he said: "My specific skill set and what I'm best at is someone who plays in the middle, someone who controls the game, controls the tempo, creates breaks, lines, progresses the ball up the pitch. You probably get more out from me in the middle, and I'm able to show off that skill set as much as possible. My role is to go and create and make things happen, control the game in the middle of the pitch, get the ball on the attackers, play forward, run forward, goals, assists, create chances, and get people off of their seats. Growing up in my teenage years, I was a midfielder, so it's a position I have some knowledge of. From going from a midfielder and trying to learn the fullback role, getting into the first team and pushing on, I'm now again in the position where I'm trying to learn how to play midfield. How to conduct myself and perform in the middle of the pitch is something that I've been tasked with." He also went on to say with regards to it, he said, "Southgate explained to me there could be a potential opportunity in midfield going forward for me. When I heard those words, it ignited something in me. There was a chance for me to go out there and take it, and I think that's what I did. Hopefully I'll be able to build on that." An interesting one, as I said, with Trent. I do think he is a fantastic midfielder. I do think he's a fantastic right back, despite criticism with regards to him in the middle of the park, with regards to him out in that fullback role and defensively. However, if he wants to play midfield, and that's something that he's aspiring to do, then best of luck to him. But yeah, an interesting listening there to his personal ambitions and what he wants to do and where he wants to play moving forward. Now, guys, into this sort of, and as I said recently as well, we do take on Manchester City in that first game back from the international break, another 12:30 kickoff. And basically, yes, there has been some really exciting news with regards to our injury situation. And yeah, it couldn't have been actually better, to be perfectly honest with you. Basically, we have had a lot of players currently out sidelined for various little issues, some players with minor issues, some players with major issues. However, we have been given information that a lot of players are going to be returning back to the fold. One of those players is Ryan Gravenberch. He's going to be returning ready to go for that game against Manchester City after he had a knee injury. However, the Dutchman will face fresh midfield competition from Curtis Jones going into next weekend, with the young Scouser set to be available again after a hamstring trouble. Obviously, his Liverpool shrinking injury list still features Andy Robertson and Thiago. However, it's good to see that those two players, first and foremost, are going to be back, along with Joe Gomez and Ibrahima Konate, who were obviously absent in the final two games of before the international break. But those four players are set to return to the fold and will be made available for the game against Manchester City, which is absolutely fantastic news. Stefan Bajcetic could be following a similar timeline as the Reds' cautious approach to his recovery following a recent setback. So people that love Stefan Bajcetic, I'm one of them. He won't be back for a little while. He's going to be out pretty long term with regard, like Andy Robertson and Thiago, probably until the end of the year. So those three players, and of course Conor Bradley is another one of them. However, the other good news is, of course, that the four players, Curtis Jones, Ryan Gravenberch, Konate and Joe Gomez, will be fit and available for that game against Manchester City, which is an added boost. Now, in other news with regards to another potential boost, if you have been keeping an eye on the international football, and I don't celebrate other players being injured, but currently Manchester City have this injury list, where a lot of players have been withdrawing from international duty. And as I said, in recent years, you know what Pep's like. I don't take that sort of for face value, and they probably will be starting again against Liverpool come next weekend. However, Erling Haaland, it seems as though he has picked up an injury, an ankle injury, whilst on international duty, which makes for good reading for Liverpool fans. Erling Haaland, again, I don't like to celebrate players being injured, but Erling Haaland, there is no doubt, is probably one of the best players in the Premier League currently, and of course he would offer a really, really big goal threat going into that game. But if there's a slight hope, a slim chance that he will be missing for that clash, then that's very, very good news for Liverpool fans as well, added with the 4 players that are set to return to the fold. So yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff to see on that regard. And again, guys, I'm not celebrating Erling Haaland being injured. I just want him to be absent for the game on the Saturday. In other news, guys, of course, you probably have heard the stuff with regards to Everton. Of course, our City rivals currently got a 10-point deduction. And currently now sit 19th in the Premier League table, 2 points from safety, and only off the bottom due to their goal difference. And Everton, for me, have actually improved this season. The first 5 games of the season probably thought they were going to go down a similar route. However, over the last 5 games, they've certainly turned a page under sort of Sean Dyche, looking like a decent opponent. It just makes it very, very interesting. I'm not here to stand up for Everton. I think clubs that are caught cheating and clubs that are doing something wrong need to be held accountable and need to be punished. So again, I'm not against those sort of 10-point deductions. However, when I'm looking at Manchester City and their 115 breaches that they've made over the last decade, something needs to be brought forward about that, of course, as well. And again, I'm keeping a very, very close eye on what's going to be happening with the Premier League with regards to Manchester City, because if they're going to punish Everton for one breach and something to do with sort of £20 million, or bringing in a player that they said they weren't allowed to do, and then working with the Premier League to try and find a solution, if Manchester City aren't held accountable for the 115 breaches that they've made, then there's something seriously wrong with this game. And as I said, and as a club in the top 6, we do have a lot of power, we do have a lot of says in what goes on. However, Manchester City do need to be held accountable going forward, especially if Everton have now been 10 points deducted. Manchester City need to find what their fate is. There hasn't been an update since it did come out. And I'll be eager to see if something actually does happen going forward. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. But Everton have been deducted 10 points and now currently sit 19th in the Premier League table, 2 points away from safety, and of course just off the bottom of the table due to goal difference. So yeah, quite a few bits and pieces that we have discussed, of course, today, but the main headline today is that Liverpool have been handed a giant injury boost, of course, ahead of the Premier League returning. Gravenberch and that man who's coming back as well. Curtis Jones, Konate, and Joe Gomez, which is also really fantastic to see. Liverpool fans, do let me know your thoughts on the situation with regards to our injuries. Also, let me know your thoughts on the news, what's happened to Everton, and yeah, let me know your score predictions for that game against Manchester City, which is a week today, as I said, down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. As always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.